All this week, we're taking a close look at the intense and growing battle over the legalization of marijuana. It's our 360 special, America's High, the case for and against pot. Now, yesterday's focus was on medical marijuana and drew hundreds of comments on our blog. We expect there's going to be an even stronger reaction to what we have for you tonight. So consider this. The government says marijuana has grown in all 50 states. Last year, about 8 million marijuana plants were seized and then destroyed by the U.S. And here's perhaps the biggest surprise. 61% of the illegal crop was harvested on public land. That public land includes national parks, which is, of course, a destination for families and tourists. And now, as you'll see, Mexican drug cartels have turned some parts of the nation's protected parks into their own marijuana gardens. Randy Kay investigates.
We get our first glimpse from the air as our helicopter hovers over Bear Creek Canyon. Just about 2 hours north of Los Angeles, there it is, a marijuana garden planted smack in the middle of Los Padres National Forest. The Ventura County Sheriff's Department invited us along on this raid. Last year in California, 5.2 million plants were seized, 70% of them on public land. Estimated value, $15.6 billion. With Captain Derek West as our guide, we start our journey deep into the forest. We smell the marijuana plants before we even see them. The plants are young, no buds yet. That's the part people smoke. They won't have to be burned. It's pretty easy to take a pot garden down. Once these guys come across the plants, they just yank them right out of the ground. It's that simple. We are heading to the camp where the growers live during the harvest months. The growers, we're told, are illegal immigrants from Mexico who repay debt to the drug cartels by tending their marijuana gardens.
So who do you think is actually financing this?
We believe it's the cartels from Mexico. We find receipts, we find sometimes books. We've made arrests in some of the grows.
Why here? It's tough to get drugs across the border. And the canopy of trees in our forests and national parks, like Yosemite and Sequoia, where gardens are also prevalent, provides good cover. There have been shootouts between the growers and law enforcement, but no tourists have been hurt. Still, deputies say hikers and campers have reason to be concerned.
So do you feel like you're making any headway in the forest against these guys?
Oh, absolutely. For every plant we take, we're taking money away from the cartels.
Still, too often, gardens are replanted.
Take a look at all these marijuana plants on the ground there. Today alone, our group thinks they destroyed about 7,000 plants. The street value, they estimate, at $3.5 million.
Along the way, we find an empty bag of fertilizer. Also, pipes used to divert water to irrigate the marijuana. A real environmental concern. We reach the camp, but the growers are gone.
Here at this growers camp, our team actually found BBs. You can see them over here in this little plastic jar. I'm told that the growers will actually use these to kill rodents, which they live on while they're camped out in the forest. They also expected to find weapons, which I'm told they find in about 80% of the cases. And we're not just talking any kind of weapon. We're talking military assault rifles, AK-47s. They say that the growers use those to protect the pot gardens from anyone who's trying to take them down.
The raid complete, we make our way back, leaving behind a marijuana garden that now looks more like a graveyard. Randy Kay, CNN, in the Los Padres National Forest.
It's fascinating. You can go to ac360.com to read Randy's behind-the-scenes account of what it was like to travel to the marijuana garden and get that story. We also want to hear what you think about making marijuana legal. Let us know. Join the live chat happening now at ac360.com. We'll have two people debating the issue in a moment. Also coming up in a second, doctors who recommend pot and some say way too easily. You'll meet one doctor who calls marijuana the greatest medication he's ever worked with. And Scott Roeder, the man accused of killing abortion provider George